Hey campers, it's Patiently, and this is my first recording in an awfully long time because usually I do them in my car while my daughter's at hockey practice, except that between the holidays and the bad weather and she got sick and we had a band concert and an infected toe. Oh, it's been terrible. So we're finally back at it, and here I am in my car. I'm going to read you an excerpt from Wallpaper, which is the story of a married couple having their first baby, and the wife is incredibly horny. It's told from the perspective of the husband, who is kind of torn between what his mother's telling him he should do and what his wife is saying he has to do. The birth part of the story closely parallels my own experience with my first baby, so this one's really special to me. So, I hope you enjoy it because really it is a personal story in some spots. Okay, here we go. Here's an excerpt from Wallpaper by Patiently. With the baby using her bladder as a pillow, Deanna got up to pee before I could even fall asleep. I played possum just in case she was still raring for a fight. I rolled away from her side of the bed while she was in the bathroom, so I didn't realize until later that she returned to bed completely nude. I felt her moving a bit and assumed she was trying to get comfortable. That was getting harder for her recently, and I often endured marathons of tossing and turning at different times of the night. This was different, though. It sounded like she was rubbing her belly. I wondered if the baby was wiggling around. I wanted to roll toward her and put my hands on her belly. She'd been able to feel the baby moving for months, but only recently had I been able to feel those tiny little body parts poking at the outside. When you feel it for the first time, it's a life-changing experience. What had been all about cravings and puking and maternity clothes and future plans suddenly becomes very real. To feel your child, your own flesh and blood, moving and kicking is a spiritual moment, no matter how many times you feel it. I almost reached for her, but it was just too late to fight about my mother meddling into our business. I had to deal with the issue. I knew that. I felt like a total dick, but I shut my eyes even tighter and willed myself to go to sleep. And then she moaned. My eyes flew open. I was just about to ask her what was wrong, if something was wrong with the baby, when she moaned again. This time it was clear. She wasn't in pain. I felt more jerky movement in the mattress, and I heard a rhythmic wet sound. It took me a minute to understand what was going on. I took a deep breath and snorted a little as I rolled toward her with my eyes closed tightly. She froze. As I resumed my even breathing rhythm, still pretending to sleep, Deanna relaxed and the moment resumed. Movement resumed. I waited until she moaned again before peering through narrow slits in my eyelids. Deanna was masturbating. In our 3-year marriage, I had never seen Deanna touch herself sexually. I knew she had a vibrator in her underwear drawer, but I had never seen it in her hand, never mind between her legs. I didn't know if she was embarrassed or if she was just completely satisfied by her manly stud of a husband, but she never touched herself in front of me. I was as hard as a rock. She was on her left side, just as nurse from childbirth class had recommended, so she was facing me. The pillows behind her supported her back and her right leg to expose her pussy. I couldn't see it from where I was, but I could hear her wetness as she moved her fingers. I could also see her face. Her brow was furrowed in concentration, and I wondered what she was thinking about as she masturbated. I hoped it was me, but I wasn't foolish enough to believe it. It was all I could do not to reach down and stroke myself. It wasn't just rekindling the fight I was afraid of anymore. Now I knew I couldn't interrupt this perfect moment. This was the hottest thing I'd ever seen in my life. Her right hand worked furiously between her legs, desperately frigging her clit. Her left rested on the swell of her belly. I wondered if the baby felt her movement. Her left hand moved to her breast. She cupped it gently, and then began to tweak her nipple. I felt a flash of jealousy. She had read in a book that nipple stimulation could cause premature labor by releasing some hormone. Her nipples had been off limits to me for weeks. As jealous as I was, it only turned me on more to see her touching her tit. Just when I was sure I wouldn't stand another minute without jacking myself off, her body went still and rigid. She cried out as she came, and I struggled to continue the charade of sleep. I couldn't disrupt this moment for her. Or for me. She relaxed as her orgasm subsided, and after a moment, and with considerable effort, she rolled off the bed and made another stop in the bathroom. When she came back to bed, I reached for her. She kissed me on the nose, and I fell asleep with my hand on her belly, feeling our munchkin moving around. Well, I hope you enjoyed that. Just a little tiny bite. Actually, you can find this bite on Book and Main Bites also. If you like the excerpts and you're not so happy about the video, or you don't like my Would You Like Fries with That Voice, you might want to check them out on Book and Main. I'm there at Patiently, and it's bookandmainbites.com. And I guess that's all for tonight. I'm going to read something else by another author here, and that's that. Thanks for listening, and have a great night. It's Patiently saying goodbye.